Willkommen zurück, wieder bei Premonition 2. Letztes Mal wurde sehr viel aufgeklärt über die Geschichte in der Vergangenheit, im Jahre 2005. Wir wissen...
Aufgeklärt?
Ja, so sehr wie Premonition 2 Dinge aufklärt. Wir wissen, was der Plan war, wer die Schuldigen waren. Wir haben Paddy gerettet. Eigentlich wurde ja alles erledigt in der Vergangenheit, aber es gibt ja noch ein paar Fragen, die offen sind. Und weggespült, genau. Wollen wir direkt weitermachen, Freunde?
Ja, bitte.
Green grass. You know the green I'm talking about. Moist with sprinkler water, reflecting the radiance of the sun. In that regard, Louisiana's grass is in a class of its own. Just picture it on a clear summer day. A cold beer in one hand, gazing out from your porch onto the garden. You're so
Ist das
proud.
Worst-Case-Stimme?
This is
Not sure.
doesn't get
mich
much
nämlich
better than this. That's how
Ich bin schlecht mit
a
Stimmen.
well-kept garden and a cold beer be the ultimate combination. They go hand in hand, just like hot dogs.
Das erste Mal, dass wir diese Musik wieder spielen.
That grass, it's got a bit of a nerve to it. It doesn't matter how many times you cut it down. It'll always keep coming back and turn your eyes away for a bit. And that's when it'll really sprout up. Up until last week, your garden was perfectly pruned and balanced, symmetrical and pristine. But you wake up the next morning, and you can't even stand to look at what it's become. That's why people work so hard to cut their grass. Like it's some ordeal they've been tasked with by the big man in the sky. Oh. And it never ends. Understand me, Zach? If you want to stop cutting your grass, well, you need to either submit to its growth or force it to wither. That's all humans can really do.
Ich glaube, es könnte Forrest sein. Oder sein Vater.
Nothing but wasted efforts. You follow
Also wenn du es nicht weißt, Robin,
just be honest.
Vater
wo kannst du nicht
Marcel
weitergehen, bis wir am Ende angekommen?
Francis
Das ist ja lustig.
Morgan.
Francis Zack Morgan. Ah. Wie ging's dir hier, Robin, als du das zum ersten Mal gespielt hast?
I was freaking the fuck out.
Ja.
Forrest Cason pfeift die Titelmelodie.
Such a touching reunion.
Das ist Pfeifen.
Little boy who was given
Klang, als ob er es nicht sehr gut kann.
finally reuniting with his true.
Weil das ist ja auch wirklich jetzt ein Sequel.
Look,
Also er ist ja der
even
Alte
little
hier.
Willie here is beside himself with joy.
What?
Ja, er hat keine guten Erinnerungen an Forrest Cason.
Damn it! I'm gonna kill you!
Holy shit. Sehr luftiges Pfeifen.
Ja, ich glaube, der Synchronsprecher konnte nicht so gut pfeifen.
Finde ich aber irgendwie witzig.
Ja, das ist cooler Shit.
Oh no. Oh no.
Hey, let her go! What the hell's gotten into you?
Das ist nicht so gut.
Turns out, York ist sehr traumatisiert.
Du könntest auch darstellen mit den Füßen, war toll. Und der Türrahmen, wow, cineastisch. Und,
Was ist mit Simon? Ah.
Jeez, are you okay?
So, about that
was
pizza.
war diese Inszenierung? Was war diese Inszenierung gerade? What the fuck?
Wir haben halt alles an Inszenierung aufgebraucht, Leo. War nichts mehr übrig.
Ja, dann sollen sie das wie immer in einem Flat Angle inszenieren und dann ist gut.
Auch das sah in Sverris Kopf bestimmt sehr spektakulär aus.
No turning back now.
Wahrscheinlich.
How should we clean this up?
I'm searching the room.
Yes, please.
Damn.
This room is pure insanity. but I can't let it shake me. Why did you come here, Aaliyah? Remember the real reason you decided to investigate Morgan's house in the first place. We came here to find a missing girl.
Achso, ich dachte, das war irgendwas mit Pizza und Nietzsche.
Ja, man könnte es glauben.
Come on, Agent Jones. I know you're hiding something.
What are you talking about?
You've been watching him for 4.5 years, haven't you? Can you really stand here and tell me that you never saw a single one of the strange signs I'm picking up on now?
Guter Punkt, guter Punkt.
Oh, guck mal, was da neben Simon steht. Auf dem Karton. Seht ihr das?
Was?
Was neben Simon auf den Kartons steht?
Review, Recycle, Reuse?
Nee, nicht, aber was da auf dem Karton draufsteht. Der Gegenstand.
So, die Dosen oder was?
Das sind die Drums, die wir gebaut haben. Für den Priester in der ewigen
Oh,
Fetch-Quest.
witzig.
Ja, sorry, it's been a while.
Ja, weil der auch keine Relevanz für irgendwas
Ja,
hat.
und es sieht ja hier auch einfach nur aus wie halt Stuff.
Ja, aber so sah das da auch aus.
Preparations for
das
kidnapping
erinnert mich.
or terrorist activities, sexual depravity, violent tendencies, self-mutilation,
Das hat gerade übrigens viele Deadly Premonitions gesagt.
or even just contacting a specific person periodically.
Nope, nada. He doesn't fit any of that. You
I'm
think
the
I'd
worst
really
agent ever.
ignore something that obvious? I may be a schlub, but I'm still an FBI agent.
Then why didn't you do anything about this room? Or did you merely choose to ignore his abnormal proclivities?
You want to know what I did? I did my damn job. End of story. I was outside the entire time. How do you expect me to notice a room like this from out there? It's as simple as that. At least it was, until you dragged me into this whole mess. Don't blame me just because your big investigation ended up leading nowhere.
Then tell me the truth. After seeing this room, can you really say that man is in his right mind? He kept this room a total secret from you for over 4.5 years. No normal human is capable of such a feat. Only a true genius. Or a true monster. Can you really
both.
guarantee that he won't try anything if we just let him go here?
Well,
Then you need to help me.
Well, he did try to kill you.
Find some sort of evidence that we can use to make him reveal what he's plotting.
okay.
Spielen wir Simon.
Kennt ihr
Nee, Gott.
solche Experimente wie, sowas wie, man spielt Yakuza mit echten Yakuza und dann
Ja,
sollen sie
ja.
kommentieren, wie realistisch das ist? Ich würde das hier unheimlich gerne FBI-Agenten zeigen und dann fragen,
Ja,
und?
accurate.
Why do you
Say?
think Jethro
Nachdem die Credits so vorbei sind. Und? Was sagen Sie?
Und
Wow.
was sagen Sie dazu, Agent? Agent, wo sind Sie?
Und 2 Wochen später Nachrichten. FBI-Agent schlägt Verbot von Videospielen vor.
I mean, doesn't he look like the kind of
FBI-Agent
guy
ohne
who
Hose in
died
New Mexico
first in a
gefunden.
horror movie?
He married into the Clarkson family. He didn't possess Clarkson blood, so he had nothing to do with Helena Doman's plan.
The blood purge thing? But if that was all there was to it, then Helena Doman wouldn't have killed anyone but Clarksons, right? Yet a ton of the Clarkson gang members died, along with Sheriff Woods. Doesn't add up.
She did whatever it took to achieve her goals. She'd kill if the plan required it. But killing people outside of the Clarkson family was never a priority. Her ultimate goal was to cut off the Clarkson bloodline. Maybe he was always meant to be an assistant to the goddess of fertility.
What, like a servant?
He was the kind of person who was most in his element when he had someone to serve. Even afterwards, he let Patricia take over the estate, while he became her assistant. As soon as he settled into his role, the townspeople started to respect him. Now they practically revere him, and he's even earned himself a nickname. One-Armed Danny.
Was ein großartiger, respektvoller
Guter
Spitzname.
Spitzname.
Extrem kreativ.
Ja.
You think his life played out exactly the way Professor R planned it to go? Talk about tragic.
I was so positive, but she isn't here. There is something about this room, though. Agent Jones, what do you think?
Me? I'm not as smart as you. Why are you even asking me?
Are you hiding something?
Wow, ist er nutzlos.
Of course not. Not knock it off. Me?
Agent
Hiding
Jones, was sind Ihre
something?
Gedanken? Ich habe keine Gedanken.
Bin ich beim FBI oder
Come
sowas?
on. I got nothing to hide.
I thought I would find answers in this room. I thought that
Das sind
Patricia
Ihre
would be
Körperteile
here,
unterm Bett.
but I was wrong.
Ja, genau. Sollte man vielleicht mal nachgucken.
This room is only filled with photos of people related to the case and the handiwork of a madman.
Und Kartons, in
Feels
denen
like I'm
Kinderkörperteile
wandering
Platz hätten.
through a heavy mist. Why is Morgan showcasing those women's photos and that bed?
Oh, wir brauchen alle.
If you loved someone from the bottom of your heart, would you ever be able to marry someone else? Or kill for them?
Whoa,
Das sind zwei sehr unterschiedliche Fragen.
I've never heard of any kind of motive like that in any other murder case. I just keep feeling like we're being fed a story that he made up in his mind.
True. Honestly, without having experienced what that's like, I can't really say what I'd do. But I'd never try and force love to happen, if it didn't seem like it was meant to be. There are 3.5 billion women on this planet.
Oh,
There's
jeez.
got to be more than one specific person who anyone can fall deeply in love with, right?
But what if we were talking about pizza?
Why, Ellie? Why?
Now you're talking his language.
No, why would you do this?
Just don't.
Yeah.
You just discovered the perfect ultimate pizza. But you aren't allowed to take
And you've
even
been dating for a
single
while, and sexually
Yeah.
things are going great.
unless you kill someone for the cook.
Have you ever loved someone with all your heart?
Like pizza.
What kind of person do you take me for?
That's my line.
Okay.
What? Okay. Dann
One
muss ich
Weird.
nicht
person in
antworten.
after
Das ist
the
in Ordnung.
incident was
Ich hätte darauf
Daniel
auch nicht geantwortet.
Clarkson, the next in line to succeed the Clarkson family. He's the one that ended up raising her from that point onwards.
Good on Daniel.
Isn't fate strange? In the end, two people who were completely unrelated by blood ended up inheriting that house.
Yeah, you're right. But sometimes I wonder, what is family anyway? Go back far enough, we're all strangers to one another. We're talking countless generations, marriages and birth, you know.
Humans love to deify the rules they create. It's almost like that's been an unwritten law from the very start.
Lies in Form einer Stoffpuppe.
Okay, also ist das doch Lies.
Naja, right. War auch die einzige, die da noch fehlte.
Hm.
Why did Lise have to die first?
Weil die alle immun sind gegen den Sang Rouge-Kram? Huch.
Echt.
Ich hoffe, wir können von dem Ding noch den Schwanz ernten, sonst müssen wir noch 4 andere davon
What
zahlen.
is this?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Okay, eine Ratte, die da drunter lag.
Ich dachte ein Eichhörnchen, also.
This
Oh.
room paints such
Hey,
a
Deswegen
bizarre
der
picture.
Witz mit dem Schwanz. Aber wie auch
Ah,
But upon closer look, I can see some strange sort of pattern to it all. Was Morgan
Vielleicht war's auch
trying
eine
to
Ratte.
recreate something with all this? If so, there must be a reason for all of these weird and hideous things.
haben wir ein rotes Seil. Okay. Lass mal alles andere.
When Helena Doman returned home, someone must have let her inside.
You think that was her brother-in-law, Daniel?
I don't know.
Well, alligators did chomp his arm off. He probably had it in for old man PJ too. But, you know, I don't think he had anything to do with this.
Why not?
You're making it out to be more complicated than it really is. That's always the problem with people like you. Too smart for your own good.
Just get to the point.
Professor R marched straight through the front door to the mansion. She arrived right at her destination using the quickest route possible, without having to undergo a single security check.
I know. My question is, how was she able to do that?
Because she's family. It doesn't matter if PJ disowned her. He never stopped loving his son. A father would never abandon his child, no matter how much they fail to fulfill his expectations. That's what being a parent is all about. Don't look at me like that. I know. I don't have a son myself, but I have a father. He's still back in my hometown, managing the printing plant my grandfather started. He'll be turning 80 soon. He wanted me to take over the place, but as you can see, I'm out here. But I know how this whole thing works. Even though I haven't seen him in forever, the minute I go home, he'll welcome me with warm, open arms.
Und dann benutze ich eine Bombe, um uns beide zu sprengen.
Es gut anders.
Galena Clarkson went to California to become an actress. But things never took off for her, so she eventually returned home. Then she murdered her own daughter and ended up like this. Where did she go wrong?
She did manage to appear in a few movies, right?
Not as any characters with actual names, and never with much clothes on.
So that's the only value they saw in her, huh? Sorry, that was insensitive.
It's an everyday occurrence in that world. She was also bullied a lot.
Bullied? How?
They'd cut up her costumes, her scripts, and even her own clothes, everywhere she went. Then after 3 years of that, her stylist chopped off a chunk of her hair. By accident.
Jesus.
Are you kidding me?
I did a little investigating on this. In the end, a self-titled big cheese producer tricked her. She almost ended up going into porn.
Not hard to imagine what would have happened after that.
She would have been in
One
porn.
witness said that after returning to Lucare,
You got it.
she refused to use scissors to cut anything.
What's that?
A hunting trophy. A brown bear.
Sieht man das nicht? Es ist eine Hunting Trophy, clearly.
Why is it smoking a cigar?
It's probably supposed to represent Philip J. Clarkson's body.
And the elk is...
Helena Doman.
So
muss
that's why
fragen.
I've got such good taste in fashion. And this one is Galena Clarkson?
Why did he want to line up corpses that were killed in different places? Red seeds?
You sure it's okay to press that?
Won't know until we try.
Press that? Achso.
Hey, it's Woodstock.
What? No, it's not.
Look, a peace sign. Love and peace, man. Even I can
Gab's
figure
sowas
out
nicht
what
auch im
this
ersten
is
Teil?
from. It's Jimi
Ja, das war das ganze
Hendrix,
Ding.
Janis
Ja,
Nur es war
Joplin,
kein Peace-Sign, sondern es war ein Baum.
Grateful Dead, and Led Zeppelin.
Right.
But I shouldn't have to explain it to a music nut like you, right?
That isn't a peace mark. It's upside down. You don't need to be a music nut to see that.
Who says that's the top part? If you're looking from Lisa's head, this is the top part, making it a big, fat peace mark.
No, this is the ground.
Where's your proof?
The red seeds. Seeds go in the ground, right? That makes this wall the bottom. Lisa's head is clearly at the top. Period. Also, Agent Jones. Led Zeppelin never played at Woodstock.
Get fucked.
Hat auch nichts zu
He's
sagen.
representing a human
Nee.
with a hunting trophy made from an animal. I feel like I'm looking at a piece of modern art.
Kleiner als Rothirsch. Okay, also. Das muss man nicht.
Anna Graham, the first victim of the Greenvale case. Her body was found hanging from a tree, like a goddess being worshipped in a sanctuary. Meanwhile, Lise Clarkson was found on the bank of a river in an area that had been fashioned into an altar. The person who gruesomely ended the life of that young woman must be brought to justice.
I completely agree. They both still had their whole lives ahead of them.
The Le Carré case and the Greenvale case. According to my investigation, the one key that links both cases is Francis Zach Morgan. But if we look at the cases from his point of view, we see one more connection. The red seeds are also present in both cases. I believed that he was the one who brought them to both towns. But... no. Never mind.
Scheint nicht wichtig zu sein, Freunde.
Sure seems like our friend Daniel here was just destined to suffer. He crossed the entire
Drauf
continent and
rumzureiten.
married into
Wirklich?
the Clarkson family, all for the sake
Mann,
of
dieser
the
Daniel,
woman
was
he
für ein
loved.
Loser.
But then the love of his life became a drug addict and ended up murdering their very own daughter. And she too was murdered as part of her big brother's conspiracy. Finally, in order to prove that he could take responsibility for the family, he gave up his right arm to his father-in-law, who got blown to bits soon afterwards. And to add insult to injury, all the inheritance went to PJ's secret heir. If I had to go through all that, I'm pretty sure I'd go crazy.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
He found someone he loved so much. He moved across the entire continent just to be with her. That's beautiful. It also seems that he was eventually able to make an identity for himself and Lou Carré as well. After I found his daughter's body, I interrogated him for a bit. When I told him we were gonna do an autopsy on her body, he didn't react violently in any way. I remember him looking relieved and tired. Kinda like someone who'd just woken up from a coma.
Das ist tatsächlich ein schöner Character-Arc bei Daniel.
Ja, in dem ganzen
Ja.
Spiel sind ja auch gute Story-Elemente drin.
Versteckt.
Ja, sie sind halt komisch zusammengewürfelt.
Mhm.
Yeah. According to Morgan's story. Matches up with the files, too.
But the only proof of that is the confession she privately gave to Morgan.
Die Sonnenbrille
just
würde dem
before she
Rothirsch
died.
überhaupt nichts bringen.
Nee, das ist eine
Noch
Lesebrille.
nicht fertig.
Das ist für sie, wenn der Rothirsch was lesen will, direkt vor seiner Nase, dann guckt er so über die Nase und kann das dann benutzen, weißt du?
Ja, aber wie viele Tiere geht die Sicht halt mehr zur Seite bei solchen Tieren, ne? Also die periphere Sicht ist mehr nach vorne.
Das ist wahr.
Und zum Seiten hin ist es halt mehr, um möglichst viele Fressfeinde von beiden Seiten irgendwie.
Stell dir mal vor, York hätte das wirklich so, Zack hätte die wirklich dann in zwei gebrochen und dann jeweils ein Brillenglas so vor die Augen geklebt. Wäre aber auch sehr gut gewesen.
Ja, ich weiß nicht, dann wäre dieser Anna Wintour-Look wahrscheinlich ein bisschen kaputt gegangen, aber trotzdem.
Well,
Aber ich mag es, dass er auch
yeah.
das Geweih durch die Perücke durch
Das
gefädelt
kann nicht
hat.
einfach gewesen sein.
Nee, das war bestimmte Witzelarbeit.
And the sacrifices. None of the FBI's official records contain an example of an actual human sacrifice. Aside from the cases that Francis Zach Morgan handled, that is.
There are tons of examples of animal sacrifice, though. And remember the witch hunts back in the Middle Ages?
Meaning?
Meaning, there are always exceptions to the rule. And Morgan alluded to the existence of some sort of journal, right? I think he said he read it in Professor R's lab. If we could find that, maybe this would all become easier to swallow.
The report didn't mention anything about a journal. And if it truly did exist, it surely would have been submitted as evidence, unless he tried to cover it up on purpose. Or...
Unless the journal never existed in the first place.
exactly. He was taught how to rule as a child, never confided in anyone, and married for purely political reasons. Then he
Alle Bären.
prospered so much that he became powerful enough to rule an entire town on his own. But in the end, his own child betrayed him and ended his entire clan in a series of violent deaths. If that was your life, how would you look back on it?
Yeah, beats me. I wasn't born into a rich family, nor was I ever taught how to rule. And for what it's worth, I've also never knocked up a young ex-actress. But I guess the one thing we can say is that any good life needs balance. Get too hung up on one thing and you lose sight of everything else. And if you betray someone, you'll get betrayed too. Someone thinks they can step all over people and then live out the rest of their life in peace. They're fooling themselves. We always get to see how those people end up in our line of work. In the end, they die horrible deaths. That is why pizza is the only thing I trust. Pizza never betrays.
Punkt. That's why this is also about pizza. Ja, gut, das war genau die richtige Reaktion.
Was ist mit Pizzen, auf denen Pilze sind? Das würde ich schon als Verrat bezeichnen.
Lecker.
But Katrina took the truth along with many innocent lives and buried it all at the bottom of the swamp. But there's one truth that can never be washed away. This all started with the death of a young girl.
Sehr dramatisch.
Mhm.
Why did she believe what Professor R told her? The whole blood purge story. There's no way anyone in their right mind would ever believe that.
You got a point.
No matter how badly all the bullying must have broken her heart. I just find it too hard to believe. Don't you?
Yeah, but you shouldn't think too hard about it.
Why not?
Das sollte die Tagline des Spiels sein.
Statt der Blessing in Disguise.
Ja.
Deadly Premonition 2, you shouldn't think too hard about it.
Deadly Premonition, you shouldn't think too hard about it.
Oh.
That doesn't satisfy me. No matter how irrational an action may be, I want to know exactly why that person made such an irrational decision. Otherwise, what hope do we have?
You're never going to be in a situation where everything makes perfect sense.
Könnt ihr glauben, dass eigentlich schon letztes Jahr F9 rauskommen sollte und dieses Jahr dann Fast Furious 10? Und letztes Jahr auch Saw 9. Es ist alles so dramatisch, was passiert ist mit der Welt.
Dass du alles einstecken musst, Robin.
Wirklich?
That's my advice, as an old guy who's lived twice as long as you.
You and I are nothing alike.
Als Fan von Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines sage ich, du hast es echt schwer.
Ja.
You decided to give up on your life and spend the rest of your time on Earth sitting around and playing Sudoku.
Hier einfach, es wird nur auf ihn gedankt die ganze Zeit.
Ja, und er hat auch keine Comebacks.
Jedes Mal, wenn sie ihn was fragt, ist er halt auch fucking nutzlos. Er hat keine Meinung zu nichts, er hat kein Wissen zu nichts.
Ja.
Also immer, keine Ahnung, weiß ich doch nicht, ist mir doch egal. Jesus fuck. Es geht um Pizza, dann wird's weird und sexual.
Now I know why Lise Clarkson was murdered first. Lisa's death was Professor R having second thoughts. According to Morgan, her plan was to perform parricide and filicide, then commit suicide. Those were the 3 deaths necessary to complete the ritual, remember? Which means she technically could have killed Patricia first. That would have been the best way to delay any interference from the Clarksons themselves. The reason she didn't kill Patricia first is because Lena was actually following a different plan
Darf ich kurz was
inside her own
fragen?
mind.
Vielleicht habe ich das irgendwie vergessen oder übersehen oder sonst was, aber diese Sache mit Patricide, Filicide, Suicide, ist das irgendeine Prophezeiung, die von irgendjemandem gemacht wurde, oder haben die sich das einfach für das Finale aus den Fingern gesaugt?
Das hat, glaube ich, das erste Mal Melvin gerade gesagt, ja, er hat quasi revealed, dass das der Plan war, aber wir haben vorher, soweit ich weiß, auch noch nichts davon gehört, nein.
Okay, wegen der Gottes, also, was war denn nochmal sein Plan?
Der Plan war, dass diese 3 Sachen gemacht werden müssen, um die Goddess zu der Goddess zu machen, zu der sie machen wollten. Und dann kannte er die Goddess benutzen, um die Macht zu bekommen, um die Stadt zu kontrollieren. So habe ich es verstanden.
Ist alles auch leicht vage, ne?
Ja,
ist
was genau.
Also ich habe da jetzt auch schon versucht, das mal so ein bisschen zusammenzupuzzeln und habe immer das Gefühl, so richtig was zu puzzeln gibt es eigentlich gar nicht.
Nee, also die Sache...
Ebene.
Was mich an der Vergangenheitsstory immer so ein bisschen gestört hat, war, dass es tatsächlich ein bisschen langweilig ist zu puzzeln, wer jetzt wirklich dazugehört oder schuldig ist und wer nicht, weil die Lösung am Ende war, jeder. Jeder war schuldig im Grunde, jeder hatte damit zu tun. Die Motivation ist dann am Ende einfach, wir wollten Macht haben und wie man Macht bekommen hat, ist, alle mussten sterben, I guess.
Ja, genau, wie sollst du denn auch dahin puzzeln, wenn auch die Lösungen immer total random Prophezeiungen oder sowas sind?
Ja, also ich glaube, wenn man wirklich den Schritt zurück macht und sich Deadly Premonition 1 in den Kopf ruft, dann muss die Antwort einfach sein, dass Forrest Kaysen die halt manipuliert hat, damit die mit den Samen, also Saint Rouge machen, das verbreiten und dann hier eine neue Baumgöttin erschaffen, quasi irgendwie, weißt du?
Es wurde auch gesagt, dass Patricia immun ist gegen Saint Rouge.
Ja,
Oder
genau,
nicht,
das wurde
weil ihre
auch.
Blutlinie
Ja, genau.
immun ist dagegen, weil sie ist ja eine Klasse.
Nee, das wurde nicht gesagt. Es wurde gesagt, dass sie immun ist und sie wissen nicht wieso, weil die anderen sind nicht immun dagegen. Die Göttin da ist ja auch eine Klaxen. Und die wird ja damit vollgepumpt.
Stimmt.
Ja, also ich weiß nicht, ja, ich verstehe es schon, aber ich finde es vom Spieler ein bisschen viel verlangt, dass man sich Deadly Premonition 1 so stark da vielleicht für die Interpretation zurechtrufen soll. Weil wenn ich das machen würde, dann müsste ich ja zum Beispiel auch für Deadly Premonition 2 interpretieren, dass, keine Ahnung, dass der Gesetzeshüter, der uns von Anfang an hilft, in Wirklichkeit ein Mörder und ein Wahnsinniger ist und ein Kultist, der uns am Ende hintergeht. Und das wäre ja absurd, wenn sie genau diese Plotline nochmal wiederholen würde, Deadly Premonition 2.
Da wollte ich noch drauf hinweisen.
Stimmt.
Das ist da exakt
gar nicht drüber nachgedacht, aber es ist ja wirklich genau das.
Es ist ja genau das Gleiche.
Just saying.
Yep.
Und auch hier wieder mit
Metal Gear.
Größenwahnsinnigen, ich will ein Gott sein, Nummern und bla 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 bla.
Yep.
Perhaps she merely changed her plan as she followed through with it.
Ja, damn.
At some point, new
Gar nicht mal so
emotions
gut.
started to take
Tom's
root
mind
in
has been blown.
Toms Bild von Deadly Premonition
Oh
2
no.
ist für immer
Ein
zerstört.
sehr
She had
hohes
second thoughts
Bild
about
von.
And in order to shake those off, she used the
Gefälle.
lead to kill Lise first, in order to cut off any possible escape. But that only made her plan move ahead quicker than she could have ever imagined, which forced her to rush right up to the end with those misgivings always in the back of her mind.
Huh? Wait, hold on. Yeah, you lost me. What are you talking about?
Er kommt nicht mit? Jesus.
Verrückt. Kaum
In
zu
other
glauben.
words, at some point,
Stop
Helena Doman
showing that.
decided that
That's
she
not
wanted to
Lena.
make Patricia the next heir. The blood purge wasn't for the goddess of fertility. It was for their daughter, Patricia.
There we go.
Wait, are you saying Helena knew from the start that Sheriff Woods would die with Candy?
That's the only explanation I can think of.
Gott, jetzt ist sie nicht schon Jedi, sondern auch noch eine Wahrsagerin.
Huh.
Remember, this is only assuming that everything Morgan told us was true. Until I can trust that man, this is all nothing more than conjecture.
Considering how insane this all is, it sounds perfectly believable to me.
Ich hätte es aber irgendwie cool gefunden, wenn über das Spiel verteilt immer wieder Visionen gekommen wären von den Tieren, als die Morgan jetzt die Person inszeniert hat, weißt du? Wenn er irgendwie, was ich Vision gehabt hätte von einem Reh in genau so einer Perücke oder so.
Ja, das stimmt.
Das wäre schön gemeint. Ne?
Remember me? Oh, cat got your tongue. Understood. You know why I'm here, don't you? Surely you must know what this means. To commemorate our reunion, allow me to give you another oracle. The contract, once signed, will last for eternity. But only in the presence of true love. Did you hear that? Good.
Das Nicken.
Soll die Schlange eigentlich
It's
lebendig
been a
sein?
while since I felt.
Ich meine, die Zunge ist draußen, ist unclear.
There's hardly anyone in this era who can see me like you can. And they've been dropping like flies since you first came to see me. Breaks my heart.
Weißt du, Hungarn, wir hätten deine Hilfe wirklich in dem Fall mit Anna gebrauchen können. Wo warst du in Gesamt Deadly Premonition 1?
Wirklich.
We don't have much time. Do you have any questions for me?
Wo anfangen? Jetzt müsste sich der ganze Bitte von oben bis unten
Das
betragen.
wäre sehr gut. Viel zu viel, passt auch gar nicht rauf.
Aber es gibt eine, die wichtig ist.
Excellent. You pass. You haven't changed, Francis Zach Morgan. But that question isn't for me to answer. Go and see it with your own eyes.
Wie eigenartig gut sein Charaktermodell aussieht.
Oh,
Ja, ne?
time's up.
Hier haben sie mal eine etwas höher auflösende Textur benutzt, damit die Malereien besser zur Geltung kommen, glaube ich. Ist das ein Handy-Signal?
Ich glaube schon.
Klingelton? Das Teewasser ist fertig.
Wie lange er es auch hat klingeln lassen.
Oh, this is bad.
Oh.
Der Pizzalieferservice verspätet sich um 15 Minuten.
Festnahme gescheitert, Objekt mit Geisel geflohen. Verbleib unerkannt. Unbekannt.
Agent Jones, what is this referring to?
Avery Smith kidnapped Patricia Clarkson and escaped.
Avery Smith?
What?
The vault manager? Why would he kidnap Patricia?
Das ist der große Typ.
Ja.
Tell me what's going on right now.
Well,
Answer me, Jones.
Hat er jetzt doch noch einen gesehen, der größer ist?
I made a deal with Morgan. Back when he took me to the bathroom.
Is that the fairy?
Yep.
What?
Well.
It's a
What?
fairy.
Morgan said something to me. If we want to find Patricia, we need to look at Avery Smith.
Have you lost your mind?
What he said made sense. Ever since 2005, Avery's been working deep inside that cold storage warehouse. He was also arrested in the past for getting too friendly with Lise Clarkson. And after Katrina, he apparently worked on renovating the warehouse for free. What if that allowed him to freely modify the warehouse as he pleased? That would explain why her body remained missing for 14 whole years. Then, I did a little check and found out that he never went back to work after Christmas vacation ended.
So what? Why would you trust him?
I don't. I just decided it was worth investigating, that's all. So, I sent 2 agents to Avery's house without telling anyone. I just called in a favor from an old friend in the New Orleans branch.
No one gave you clearance for that. You think you can just...
But what if Morgan's telling the truth? If he is, we're both gonna look like total clowns. Clowns who went barging into a former agent's house on completely unfounded suspicions. HQ will have a field day with us. They'll string us up as the 2 dumbest agents to have ever graced the field. I just
Weil
wanted
ihr
to take some
ermittelt habt?
precautions. And besides, if he is lying, it's still no skin off our backs, right? If things work out, we'll end up solving a difficult case that's been driving everyone crazy. Imagine that. You and me, just the 2 of us, solving a case like this. I'll be able to jump ship on this crappy job. And you'll be able to freely investigate all things Saint Rouge, just like you've always wanted. Besides, you know that Morgan is Director Abraham's favorite. Even if we get into some sort of trouble, if Morgan testifies to Abrahams for us, we'll totally be in the clear.
I don't care. This isn't the way things are supposed to be done.
Well, I'm
Diese dumme
sorry,
Fee.
but I had no other choice. You were so engrossed in this, and come on.
Ich brauche
You
halt
know
das
how I am.
Navi-Voice-Over.
Besides,
Die ganze Zeit in der Szene.
saving the hostage should take priority above all else. There's no time for squabbling. We need to find Avery Smith no matter what it takes.
But how?
Well,
Thanks to your heroic maneuvers, we just lost our suspect.
I know, but
I know how to find him. I should be able to see the other world, the way I am now. Just let me go, please.
Morgan?
It's okay, my
Oh, spielen wir
fairy.
jetzt wirklich
I
Gegenwart?
know I can convince them.
In Gedanken verloren ist Simon.
Ich bin er.
Ein Kadaver mit Spross.
Damn.
I found the first one last autumn. A dead rat with a bud coming up out of its stomach, just like this one. A rat ate a red seed, died, and the bud sprouted. Honestly, it shocked me. Up until this point, I'd only ever seen red seeds, saplings, and big trees, so I decided to grow one of my own.
What are you talking about?
I needed to solve the mystery of the red trees. Why do they exist? But all of my sprouts died without ever growing the tiniest bit. Forget about a big tree. I couldn't even grow a single sapling.
So you kept experimenting.
2 days after the seed enters a rat, it takes the rat's life. On the 3rd day, a bud sprouts up, then grows to that size after 5 more. I tested this on 137 corpses.
In only a few months? Bleh.
Bäh, indeed.
But I was never able to grow a bud any larger than this size. I still remember what he told me. Apparently, there's a special trick to making these grow.
You're totally insane.
That's not a good reply.
Gute
Ja.
Reaktion.
Maybe.
Guilty as charged.
In Gedanken verlorener Simon, zu allem bereite Alia. Und eine Fee, die ab und zu rumfliegt. Huiuiuiui.
Haben wir eine leere Flasche, um die zu fangen?
Für später.
I'm pretty sure that's why
Falls wir ein extra Leben brauchen.
I can see the other world now. I'd lost that sense ever since the Greenvale incident, but it's back now. Please, will you just trust me? Come on,
Fuck
Simon.
no.
You'll trust me, won't you?
What?
No, Agent Jones. Remember the warning I gave you at the very beginning? You can't let him take control of the conversation.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Please, Halia Davis, let me go. This is our case to finish.
No, you aren't an agent anymore.
But you don't know how to find him. Neither of you ever could.
Oh, I'll find him. I swear on my pride as an active agent that I won't give up until I do.
That won't get you anywhere. It's beyond you.
Shut up. You think we can't find him, but you can. Just how stupid do you think we are? If you want us to believe you, then it's about time you showed us some proof.
Und weniger würgen würde auch helfen.
If your story is true, then why did Avery Smith kidnap Patricia?
Patricia resembles Lise. I even got them confused once. And Lise reported being stalked by a 10-foot man.
That's Avery Smith?
Exactly.
But he's only 6'7" at best. His physical characteristics don't match the person you're talking about.
I once concluded the very same thing, but now I know. That was definitely Avery.
Mit
Was, wenn er
protected
Stelzen
Was, wenn er Chuck auf den Schultern
for the
hatte?
past 14 years. Until you
Ja, wäre aber nur
no.
20 Zentimeter größer.
So after losing Lisa's body, he kidnapped Patricia as a replacement? That's ridiculous. Is that really what you think happened? Even if
Aber ich
Avery
wette,
did
du hast
possess
recht,
that
deswegen
sort
sind die
of
Fotos nebeneinander.
mentality, it doesn't
Das
make
ist der einzige
sense.
Grund, warum die Fotos nebeneinander sind.
If Lise was really that important to him, he would have tried to steal her back. Not now, maybe, but certainly after she was buried.
Would you be able to go on worshipping a goddess who had been defiled by so many hands? That ice was a barrier,
Chuck hat dann einen Crawfish auf dem
a
Kopf.
shield that separated the divine from our world.
Wie heißt der nochmal in Yakuza?
Nancy
Nancy.
Chan.
You said that she was the mastermind behind the tragedies in Lucare. That her convictions about the Clarkson bloodline are what started it all.
Yes, that's right.
She instigated her younger sister into killing her own niece. Then she committed suicide immediately after killing her father, hoping that Sheriff Woods would be able to complete her plan. How could one call such an unpredictable series of events a plan? And as we saw, Sheriff Woods chose a fate that was completely different from what she envisioned.
No, he didn't. In the end, things went exactly as she planned.
What do you mean?
At a certain point, she realized that her plan was wrong, so she tried to adjust things, using me as a pawn. But then, the unexpected happened. She and I both underestimated what Avery was capable of. That's why I'm here right now trying to convince you, in order to save Patricia's life. Hey, Belle. Your hypothesis was pretty much on the mark. Last week, I went back to Lucare. Then I bought a used car and got on a train in Trenton. But not for the reason you think. I wasn't stalking Patricia. And I'd never try to kidnap her.
Then why would you go there? Why would you risk so much, especially since you knew that you were under surveillance?
Because, once again, I'm chasing Sang Rouge.
Sang Rouge?
Even after I quit the FBI, I continued to study the red trees on my own. And now, I've come to the conclusion that those red seeds and Sang Rouge both come from the same roots. I also found proof that someone's inherited the original recipe. That's why I flew to Lucare, to confirm my suspicions. But I was more powerless than I ever could have imagined. I couldn't move like I used to. No badge, no gun. So, after wandering aimlessly around town, I swallowed down my torment and my weakness and left.
You expect me to believe that?
I know you've got it in you.
What's that supposed to mean?
You found Lise Clarkson's body. The one thing I never did. And only a few days after discovering the body, you came to visit me. You should be fully capable of discerning that what I'm telling you is the truth.
Talking much about oneself can also be a means to conceal oneself. You can't trick me.
When I first met P.J. Clarkson, how did I feel? I just thought, oh, so this is what it feels like to be in the presence of a truly powerful person. He had a very unique aura, as if he had surpassed the realm of good and evil. It's the kind of feeling you get when you come face to face with a legendary actor or an influential politician. So I was also able to sense the deep darkness that trailed behind him. The brighter the light, the darker the shadow. The more he shined, the more the people around him had to squint to shut out the light. The heat was just so intense that it forced people to shut up their hearts in order to keep from burning up. But Patricia was different. She greeted travelers with a warm embrace, like the real sun. I'm going to save her, even if I need to walk through a bullet to get there.
You said that someone inherited the Sang Rouge recipe. Is that someone Avery Smith?
It has to be. Avery used to help Professor R do research in secret.
What? Well, that wasn't in the report.
I only realized it just now, the moment I spilled my coffee on the floor. Avery revealed that he was helping with some sort of research. But at the time, I let his confession go in one ear and out the other. Now that I look back on it, I realize it was solid proof that he was helping her produce Sang Rouge.
What makes you think that?
He had free access to the deepest parts of the cold storage warehouse.
Oh. Wait.
Meaning?
Sang Rouge needs to be produced in an extremely cold environment.
Exactly. Aaliyah Davis. You already considered this possibility, didn't you? That's why you investigated the cold storage warehouse as soon as you got to Lucare, in order to locate where Sang Rouge was being made. Then, you came across Lisa's body by pure chance. Melvin wasn't the Fool King.
What?
Many different characters pop up in Lena's journal, and I mistook one of them for someone else.
What are you talking about?
After Simon hit me and I fainted, I had a dream. Now I'm convinced. I'm the Fool King.
Hey!
The Fool King was always meant to be an outsider who suddenly arrived in Lucare. And the man she felt a need to eliminate wasn't me, but Avery. Lena realized her plan was on the verge of falling apart. She also guessed that I would be able to save Patricia from Melvin. The one worry that remained in her heart was leaving Patricia behind and how her life would play out from that point on. Especially since she would be left behind with Avery. The large
Entschuldigung.
that journal entry hoping that I, the Fool
I'm
King,
sorry.
Nee, alles damit das Spiel schnell vorbei ist.
No!
and she wrote it in a specific way in order to try and rouse me to action. Lena and Melvin both entrusted me with their daughter. So please, just let me go.
Who do you think benefited most from the Greenvale case?
No one benefited from it. Many lives were lost. That's all.
You really believe that?
Everyone who survived was overcome with sadness, scarred for life.
Without exception?
Without
Ziemlich alle
exception.
waren danach unglücklich, als sie
Is that
vorher
right,
waren,
my
ja.
fairy?
Nicht wahr, meine Fee?
I feel like you're the one person who benefited from the case.
Forrest Cason?
Stimmt.
You were able to add a new
Ja, wir haben total
chapter to your
profitiert. Guck uns
stunning
an, wir sind
career
wirklich
and earned
richtig gut
unshakable
drauf.
trust from the chief.
All the weed we can smoke.
That's what allows you to go on using his intel network as you please, even though you're retired.
Are you seriously suggesting that? Sickness is destroying my body. Yet, somehow, I'm unable to forget the cases connected to those seeds. Whittling down what's left of my life, chasing them. You really think I'm doing all this for nothing but self-interest? Is that really what you're saying?
Oh, die Stimme, ey.
Ein bisschen pisst immer mal wieder.
I understand what you're trying to say. But it's too perfect. It's too perfect,
Sure.
just like that report of yours.
Deadly Premonition 2, it's too perfect.
How could you come to such a detailed
Perfection
conclusion
in disguise.
after spending years shut up in this room? Doesn't make
Perfection
sense.
disguised as failure.
So clever.
The only possible explanation
So
is that
bitter.
you're bending the narrative in the direction you want it to go.
Mag
Why
Simons
do you think
unbeholfenen
I
Schatten
left
auf der
the
Kiste.
field for 2 years after Greenvale? That case cost me not only my best friend, but also my special talent. I never thought I'd
Kann ich mehr
lose
skateboarden.
something like that. But
Metaphysical
Entschuldigung,
offender profiling.
I tried
ein
everything
ganz schöner
I could think
Triggerfinger
of
heute.
to regain my lost talent,
Durch.
but it never came back to me.
Ich will die ganze Zeit so eine Mass Effect Quicktime
That's
Events
why
in
I
den
Ja.
Dialogen.
And without anywhere else to go, I simply spent my days seeking truth. Searching for an answer I'd never find. So time continued to cruelly pass me by. Until I thought it was all over for me. But about half a year ago, I finally reached my conclusion. Everything started with the red seeds. He and I encountered these seeds long before we reached Greenvale. Under the seething, mind-melting sun of Louisiana. Then, for some reason, in the beginning of December, I finally regained my talent. And instantly, I could see the other world again. Get it? Through allowing the cancer cells to ravage my body, I regained the power to travel to the other side.
Cancer gave you superpowers.
Ich habe übrigens, wo ich gerade Lochfraß lese, in der Zwischenzeit auch mal das Wort Handlungstäler oder Handlungstal gegoogelt und ich habe nichts dazu gefunden. Also ich möchte hiermit absolut nicht ausschließen, dass es einfach eine Erfindung der Übersetzer von der Premonition 2 war.
Das könnte ich mir auch sehr gut vorstellen. Das Wort Lochfraß kann man größtenteils aus der Reklame bei der Verkalkung von Waschmaschinen und Spülmaschinen und so.
Hab ich jetzt auch nie gewusst.
Es gab in den, was war das, 90ern oder 2000er gab es irgendeine Werbung für, ich weiß nicht, Kalgon oder irgend sowas, wo es dann, oh, meine Maschine ist kaputt gegangen. Ja, das war Lochfraß.
Oh no. Der Marvel-Bösewicht. Lochfraß. Jesus Christ, how long does this take?
Alia.
Okay,
Ja, vor allem, wir gerade ein bisschen unter
ja,
Zeit.
deswegen gehe ich jetzt auch direkt
Cases
zu den Samen.
derailed your life. It must have been extremely painful. You have my deepest condolences, but that doesn't put you in the clear. You're still a suspect.
A suspect? Patricia isn't here.
The murders of Sheriff Melvin Woods and Candy Woods. Their bodies were never recovered. Katrina carried them away, along with many other
Woher wisst ihr dann, dass sie
lives.
ermordet wurden?
Aside from that report you wrote, there's nothing that proves your innocence.
Hey,
Es gibt keinen
let's
Mord,
not
wenn
jump to
keine Leichen...
conclusions
What?
here.
Oh, I'm not.
Ja, was
I
weist dann
also
darauf hin, dass er
suspect
sie
there's a
umgebracht hat, ne?
possibility that he murdered individuals connected to other cases that he's worked on.
Aber sie sagt ja, es gibt keinen Hinweis darauf, dass er sie nicht umgebracht hat.
Ah ja,
the
das
Greenvale
ist...
so.
report bears the same
Ja,
inconsistencies
aber was weist überhaupt darauf hin, dass sie
as this one.
umgebracht wurden? Sie sind
Was
halt einfach
weist darauf hin,
verschwunden.
dass sie nicht umgebracht wurden von York?
Also sind alle schuld.
So.
Sure.
And both
Yeah,
cases
because
are filled
that's
with victims
how
whose
the-
deaths were never
That works.
witnessed.
Stop. Don't say another word. If you so much as mention her name,
If I mention it, then what?
you will pay.
I will kill you!
Oh, das ist die
Emily!
Fee?
Ja,
Of course.
sie habert da jetzt einfach nur.
Of course.
Bell. No. Special Agent Aaliyah Davis. You're exceptionally talented, I admit it. You found Lisa's body, then discovered the red seeds all on your own. You even noticed that there was someone else in this room. You've got amazing intuition. You're a hunter with an extremely keen sense of smell, but you still can't perceive the other world. Though that's all there is to it.
Ich dachte, sie schließt jetzt die Handschellen
Simon.
auf.
Dachte
Look
ich auch.
inside that trash can.
Huh? The trash can?
It's right behind you. Then you'll know for sure that I'm telling the truth.
Ich wollte schon auf die Banane hinweisen, ehrlich gesagt, vor einer halben Stunde.
Oh mein Gott, eine Bananenschale. This cracks the case wide open. Pizzarechnung?
God, I hope not.
We told you not to touch the sanctuary!
What is this?
Das steht drauf. Ich war es, der Aaliyah den Tipp gegeben und alles ins Rollen gebracht hat. Lasst uns unter 4 Augen sprechen. F. K.
Hm.
What's on that receipt? What is it, Agent Jones?
F.K. Oh, holy crap. Huh.
Contact a local agent and have them investigate Avery Smith's home. There are still agents investigating the Lucare area, right? Trust me. That's where Patricia Clarkson is.
Trust you? Where's your proof?
Ask Aaliyah Davis. Ask her about the name of the person who tipped her off.
What do you mean?
You're from Chicago, and you love pizza, right? Especially deep dish pizza, smothered in
Jesus,
cheese.
fuck.
Just ask her, and ask her why she decided to take this case in the first. Got it? Pizza will never betray you.
No.
Danke.
I'm done with the pizza talk. Thank you very much.
How could you have known that I would come here with her?
I didn't. I just bet on you.
God damn it.
Hey! Tell me what's
Der
going
gerade
on
wesentlich
right
mehr
now,
schnuppert
Agent
als noch
Jones.
gerade eben.
Oh.
Not sure.
Ist schon ruppig, ja?
Car key, Simon.
Okay.
Let me go.
Don't worry. Just trust in the pizza. I'm the anonymous tipper. FK.
I'm so
Me
confused.
too.
What?
Naja, also er hat sich damit an sich, ich verstehe nur nicht, was das mit Pizza zu tun hat. Aber er hat sie halt gesagt, dass sie hier hinkommen, damit er das alles ins Rollen bringt, bla bla bla. Er hat sich als FK
Unter dem
ausgegeben.
Namen FK.
Genau.
Und seine Fee scheint aber echt zu sein und nicht nur eine Einbildung.
Emily, die Fee ist ja echt, ja. Obviously.
Yeah, Aaliyah, I know, but pizza will never betray me.
Serious.
What? Ist er
Tell
hypnotisiert?
Abrahams to prepare a private jet
Ist das
for
ein
me at the
Triggerwort
airport.
von ihm?
I'm
Ist er
Robert, who
Manchurian
comes back on
Candidate und
me.
wenn jemand Pizza sagt, muss er tun, was er ihm
Are you
befiehlt?
serious? The chief would never lend out a private jet to a civilian like
Simon,
Like,
Simon, Pizza.
I have to leave you for a bit, my fairy. They'll be fine. They'll figure it all out.
Oh my. Boy.
York, can you hear me? I'm going to go finish the job you started. That makes us even, okay? York, she really is a genius agent. She's probably going to end up being an even better agent than we were. She just needs more experience under her belt. She's still only pursuing the world she can see with her naked eye. She needs to experience more frustration. She needs to strengthen herself. On the other hand, Simon's much smarter than he looks. No wonder he was able to go on watching us for 4.5 years. All that struggling under the surface paid off in the end. Do you want to know why he decided to start trusting me? It's simple. It's all because of the name I used to send the tip to the FBI. It's the name of that pizza parlor, the Chicago-style place with those trademarked crimson boxes. Franklin's Kitchen.
That's...
FK.
okay.
Yet again. It's got
Sure.
the best deep dish pizza in the area. Both Simon and I love
Das
that
ist so
place.
befriedigend, wenn in der
That's
Story
why I
alles
told him,
zusammenkommt.
"We'll never
ist-
betray
Aber
you."
ich bin froh.
Es ist wie
Ich dachte, wir hätten da
Das ist wie am Ende
irgendwas...
von Usual Suspects, weißt du, alles fällt so ineinander und purzt.
Aber ich dachte, da
das
hatten wir
erschließt
einfach
sich
irgendwas straight up nicht gerafft jetzt, aber immerhin hat es einen Grund, auch wenn der so ist, wie er ist. Ist besser, als wenn es komplett unerklärt wäre für uns.
Deadly Premonition 2.
So,
immerhin
ich
gibt
bin
es
aber,
einen
also
Grund.
das war jetzt sehr viel ruhiges, einfach nur zuhören dem Spiel, aber ich bin jetzt tatsächlich sehr gespannt, was als nächstes kommt.
Mhm.
Ich auch, aber das werden wir leider beim nächsten Mal erst rausfinden,
Genau.
denn ich muss weg.
Deo muss jetzt los zur Arbeit.
Kannst du mal ins Hauptmenü einfach?
Ja, ich würde sagen, beim nächsten Mal, genau, skippe ich dann einfach bis hierhin durch, wenn er nicht gespeichert hat. Das ist dann trotzdem okay. Vielen, vielen Dank, Leo, dass du das noch vor der Arbeit reingequetscht hast für uns.
Auch immer gerne. Jetzt kann ich mit befreitem Kopf zur Arbeit.
Wirklich,
das
ja.
ist gut.
Und ich glaube, nächstes Mal könnte dann tatsächlich unsere letzte Aufnahmesession werden.
Das ist ja
Mal
aufregend.
Kommt drauf an, wie lange sie wird.
Ja, ja,
Bis
klar.
dahin.
Oh mein Gott. Was tun wir dann nur?
Ja.
Wie sollen wir diese Lücke in unserem Leben
Ich weiß
schließen?
halt,
Mit
ich weiß
Pizza
halt wirklich
vielleicht?
gar
Fernsehen?
nicht, wo das Spiel gerade hin will.
Ja.
Ja.
Ich befürchte, das wirst du auch nach der nächsten Aufnahmesession noch nicht ganz wissen und
Nee.
verstehen. Aber
Ich glaube bei den Credits, ja.
ja, es macht noch ein paar Dinge. Ich freue mich drauf, sie mit euch zu erleben. Bis dann.
Ja,
Auf
bis
Wiedersehen.
dann.
Tschüss.
Tschüss.